Commander Cockings and Captain Fody here, yet again, this week, as with every week, for another Trekyards mission briefing, the more relaxed discussion show. We take a ship, station, anything from the Trek universe, discuss it, theorise, and you prepare for the full, complicated, and really good, hopefully, Trekyards episode laid down the line.
This week we have the Jem'Hadar Battlecruiser. That's right, it's the main heavy cruiser in the Jem'Hadar fleet.
I've got one, because I always have one.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
With a size of 639 metres, the ship is around the same size as the Galaxy class, which is 600.2 metres.
A force to be reckoned with, for sure, so let's get to it right now.
And just to say some confusion, there is two big ships in the Jem'Hadar fleet, both called battleships on screen. This one and the even beefier one. The beefier one, of course, was the one that destroyed the Valiant, that other Defiant that we saw. But the Eagle Moss collection, which is obviously some of the latest canon, it's called the Battleship. So that's what we're going with. Calling this the Battleship. So,
Picture here, this looks like the studio model.
Mm.
Now, it's an awesome looking ship. I love the Jem'Hadar look, except for the little bug ships, but we're not talking about those right now. These are really cool looking. But
Yeah.
Is it just me, Samuel, or do those top things look like phaser sights for the phaser rifle?
Yeah, they are a bit. Yeah, like all the paneling and all the just on a massive scale. Yeah. I gotta say, this is one of the Jem'Hadar was always an odd aesthetic for me. I love the look of the physical soldiers. I like the what they wear. I like all the race stuff. I was never also really a fan of the designs. And like I said, the confusion of the two different battleships is a bit odd on screen. But actually having this physical model, and as we always do with Trekyards, looking at other sides of the coin, as it were. Yeah, I quite like this design actually. I definitely get what they're going for, which is that more pincer shape, that much more aggressive. I mean, this is an animal. It really is. It looks pretty deadly. You wouldn't want to face this in any ship, would you?
No, actually, the design's rather reminiscent of. It's like a Romulan ship and a Cardassian ship if they had a baby. 'Cause it's got the little
scary baby.
It's got the little insect like pincer parts, but it's also got the Romulan kind of wing design and shape.
And the paneling of a Cardassian ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And one fun thing, just to talk about the physical model, is that because obviously in Star Trek you only ever saw certain angles, actually on the physical model, and on the model, there's actually a big space between this and the bottom unit. So, interesting.
That is interesting.
I'm not sure why. But yeah, it's an interesting design. I love the different colorization, because obviously the Jem'Hadar are a purple ship race, I guess. But I like the black and the red highlights. It gives it this really aggressive yet still very tech feel. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Plus, it's the front there with little greebly sections in the middle. Greeblies are just little things you stick on a model, but it looks almost Star Destroyer-ish. Kind of has a Star Wars look to it at the front there.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd be interested to know what they actually are, because you've got a reason for that.
There's reasons for everything.
Tachyons. It's always tachyons.
Yep, absolutely.
So, on to the next picture, which is a top shot. Again, you really get to see the red detailing on the front, and a lot of the glowing sections. I mean, yeah, it was. This sort of highlights the warp engine components. Obviously, as with most ships, you've got the warp engines, but you can definitely see the glowing parts here. Well, it brings up the question: are the top bits also warp engines, since there are glowing parts on the two pods?
That's a good question. We'll probably find out later. I think there might be a picture, so that maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. One thing I'd like to point out is if you rotate this picture, it looks like the bat symbol. It looks like Batman's bat symbol. I'm telling you.
No, Jem'Hadar.
No, I absolutely love the way this ship looks. This is one of my favorite designs. I wasn't really big on it when I first saw it on the show.
Yeah, it's really grown on me.
And you get it confused with the bigger ship too. But anyway. Yeah, awesome design.
The next picture, this is actually it's I guess a storage crate. That's interesting because obviously with on the show you see it with all the proper lighting, all the proper effects, even with the shots we've always seen, you get a feel. But this is it in normal lighting, so you can see the real colorization. There's a lot of shades. That's what really comes away at me. There's loads of different shades to give it that extra detailing, paneling, and I guess sense of scale.
And it's more gray than purple. But looking at this, I don't know if there's a lighting they used for it, but I don't really get a purple vibe off of it with this. Do you?
Oh, really? Well, I do, still.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't used very much. They didn't actually put in LEDs into the engines. They're probably done with UV paint because it doesn't look like they necessarily have space for them to look all solid. Huh.
All right, so the next picture is a shot. We usually see this is a shot you usually see of it in a fleet. Kind of a 3/4 underneath shot. Yeah. A lot of light up parts on this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those are propulsion related or if any at all, but
and there's no discernible deflector array, so maybe it's all part of a grid for that. Maybe the under parts are the deflector lines,
or maybe those greebly parts in between the front part there.
Maybe
they displace tachyons, like you said.
But yeah, this view gives it a completely different feel to the previous views. Gives it a much more thin feel, I think. Everything just looks very small, almost more aggressive because it's just these 2 points. You got the points of the wings and the point of that. I don't know. It feels more full on, but in like a thinner way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this shot really. I mean, just this is the way you always see it in a fleet,
firing
the ships behind it,
disruptors and stuff.
Yeah. This is a very dynamic pose that they use quite a bit. So,
but on to the next one. This is a good one. This is the fleet size chart. That shows you the battleship. Obviously, is the other one. Much bigger, over 1,000 meters. This is that's the heavy hitter, especially considering Calassian. The Galore class is also quite a big ship and just absolutely demolishes that in terms of size. But this warship is pretty big. I mean, it's Galaxy class size. It certainly is that. It's a thinner, more refined shape than the battleship, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, the battleship's more bulky, especially in the middle part.
Yeah,
the main part of it. But
it's this big armored battleship compared to the.
But you can definitely see the similarities between the two in this picture. It's basically like a Federation ship. It's got a saucer, 2 engines, and a secondary hull, right? This has the same components. It's got that center part, the wings, and then those top parts at the back. Just a little more refined in the battleship.
It always makes me feel that the bug ship, or the attack ship here, feels not a different fleet, but it certainly feels like a different designer designed it.
Yeah.
It hasn't got the same point feel. I don't know. I get it's basically a fighter or a small ship, but still, it would have been nice if it was a bit more like the other ones. I don't know.
Yes and no. I mean, you look at the Klingon ships, the Bird of Prey, they don't really look like the D7s and stuff, right?
Very true. Yeah,
and that's basically what those attack ships are. So
yeah, but it's just the bug ships were designed way years and years before, and then these bigger ships had to be designed. So I don't know. Would like to have seen a bit more visual linkage, apart from the colours and the wings, obviously. I don't know, just in my brain, they just don't link as well. But yeah, the battleship and the warship definitely. And that does show you, I mean, the Jem'Hadar and the whole Dominion, that was meant to be a race that subjugated multiple races in the Gamma Quadrant. They had an empire which was incredible, and these ships really do speak to their might because their mid-range battleship is the size of a Galaxy class, which is still one of our biggest ships. Yes.
Yeah, they tend to go for size and overkill by the looks of it.
And
intimidation.
Yeah, numbers and power. It's quite impressive. And again, considering how many, if you had a battle, one battleship versus how many Galores would make it equal. I mean, I don't know from that.
5. That's just a number I'm throwing out there. Yeah. 5 Galores versus this thing.
Yeah.
All right. So the next picture is it approaching Deep Space Nine. We've got an Excelsior class back there.
Yeah, this is when I believe they went to peace treaty thing with when Mayun went and said hi before they then attacked it. That's why they had a few ships there.
Hi.
We're gonna come invade you soon. Yeah, I like this shot actually because you get a cool sense of it, of the flow of the ship, but also you get the lighting parts on the back wings, which I think look really nice.
I am really interested to find out what those parts on the top are, though. Whether they are engines or if they're actually a weapon of some sort.
Because I think we only ever see it fire from this part.
Yeah, I think so.
Because the Jem'Hadar aren't really a disruptor's beam; they're more of a particle. Apart from the bug ship, obviously, I think.
Don't know. You got me.
It's been a while since I watched DS9 all the way through.
Yeah, I don't know much about their tech either. I haven't really looked into it over the years.
Well, that's the point of mission briefing. we present our thoughts, and you help us out with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, on to the next shot. This is the shot, obviously, of it with the fleet, and it really does outstretch everyone else a little bit. And definitely, again, the lighting really stands out because it I don't know, especially given the scale of the ship. I mean, if you think about the Galaxy class, obviously the similar size, it's only got the Bassards and the warp engines. This has got a lot of, and I guess the deflector, but this feels like it's got much more volume, roughly, or at least spaced out more. I don't know, it gives it a different feel.
Yeah, and the model you showed earlier, if you wouldn't have shown me that, I wouldn't have known that there was a space between that bottom part there and the rest of the ship. Like, how far back does that go?
Pretty far. All the way up to, oh, good. All up to there-ish, yeah.
That kind of makes the ship almost look weaker to me, though. It would have been better if it was bulked, like, all connected, I think.
Yeah.
Because I always assumed it was. And now that I've seen that, I'm kind of like, unimpressed. All right, so moving to the next picture. Just another great shot of it. This looks like the studio model again. Yeah. And again, it's got that lighting where it doesn't look purple. It looks more gray.
Well, that one for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting. This is unlike, obviously, Federation ships. I believe it's obvious there's personnel in these wings. So it'd be interesting to see how they work out what's in the wings. I think, what we saw from the Jem'Hadar bug ship, the internals, is very much practical. There weren't any chairs. It's all about military. So imagine how many barracks there are, how many weapons fields there are. Be interesting if anyone ever did a full graphic of internal space. It'd be interesting.
I want to know where their catcher cell white storage is.
Now that's this whole thing. Need a lot of drugs.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so the next shot again. This is from. This is another great side shot. Again, shows exactly how much has been lit up. Shows the warp engines a bit better. Nice to see that a lot of alien designs love the exterior warp engines with glowing bits. Really helps identifying them.
Yeah, and I like the shot from the side. The shape of the ship is something that's really appealing to me.
Yeah.
The top and the side, not so big. When it's on the 3/4 angle, it's not really that impressive to me.
Yeah.
But the side, I really like the aggressive profile of this thing.
You need all the angles, don't you, to really appreciate the points and things. Yeah, it's very sleek, very nice curve, but not curves, very nice points. Yeah.
All right, so the next picture is, of course, a John Eves.
Good old John Eves.
Rendition of it.
Now, this one may in fact be the battleship, but because I think this probably is.
Yeah.
Although I think what they've done is they've designed them both at the same time, because you can see it says Defiant/Valiant, so that's probably for the episode. But we might have in fact seen the other ship at the same time, because the bottom one is basically the same design. It's got the same points there, same at the bottom. So this might have been the original concept for both. Yeah, it's interesting. I do prefer the final version to the if there's a theoretical version, battleship. Yeah, there you go, battleship.
Yeah. But this one really points out the scale difference for the Defiant.
Yes.
It's a small little ship.
It is.
Or this is a big ship, one or the other. But yeah, the bottom one there, it's cool design. It would have been neat to see. But I think, the one that they finally went with, I think is much better.
It's interesting how, because we know what both these final ships look like, it's interesting how the sketch process, the shapes are just distorted in certain ways, and then you build it in 3D, and then physical model, whatever, and it's all just rightly proportioned. I don't know. It's weird how you can do that. Yeah. It's always nice to see a John Eves sketch.
Oh, yeah.
Good at detailing.
Yeah.
So the next one is Warship, that's how they call it this time, and, we get some ideas. So ion impulse drives, the impulses are at the top. Okay. Ventral cargo weapons bay is the bottom bit. It's cargo and weapons. Ram scoop are at the back. Forward polaron. Yep, that's what they use, isn't it? Polaron beam weapons. And the bridge is there-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
So not actually as many weapons as you'd think.
Yeah, those would be much more impressive if those were weapons on top, but they're just the impulse drives. Those are pretty big impulse drives.
Well, it's a pretty big ship.
True, but still.
Yeah.
And then that center part that's not really attached to anything is the cargo and weapons bay, which is interesting.
Probably the torpedo launchers are in there somewhere, if they use torpedoes.
Looks like it looks like in the back view there. It looks like there's two little.
Yeah.
Or three launchers maybe.
I mean, torpedoes are always worth having, so you should definitely have multiple.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the tips of the wings have the, or tips of these parts have the polaron beam.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the next picture is the same kind of view or schematic, but from the bottom. Let's see here.
Port starboard impulse crosslink. That's what the glowy bits are. Okay then.
Interesting.
Good. Port starboard impeller crosslink. So that's what the glowy bits are, guys. Impeller crosslinks.
It's important, apparently.
And the next one is almost full orthos again. A lot less detailing for this one, especially the top view. But that front view is really interesting.
Looks very much like the Romulan Valdor.
Yes. Good old
Just
John.
saying.
It's interesting. It looks thinner from the front. Like, it is a sleek ship. It isn't a bulky ship. It does have those thin, sleek lines.
But from the side, it looks very beefy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a deceptive ship. A lot of ships, it's always a case of some angles look better than others. But this ship and a lot of Jem'Hadars, they just look different from different angles. Like the proportions, they feel different. It's interesting.
All right, so the next picture is a great size comparison. You get to see the Galaxy class ship there, and Excelsior and Defiant as well.
Wow.
Even their bug ships are not that small, really.
Yeah, they're pretty meaty for the size. They're definitely beyond fighters.
Yeah, they're like Defiant size, but yet they're the smallest Jem'Hadar ships, I think.
It's interesting. And that battleship is a monster. Absolutely a monster.
I prefer the battleship to the cruiser, I think. But
I like the sleekness of this one. Again, this one I did used to prefer the other one, but I think the sleekness of this one really has grown on me. But yeah, the bulkiness, the real. I mean, if you face well, this calls a battleship anyway, you know you are screwed, and I think that's what the Valiant learned. Yeah, and obviously just trying to get through that armor. I mean, that's got to be some serious. I mean, how many torpedoes just to get through it? And the next one, we are back to the start again. Again, beautiful shot of it. So all the different detail, all different colours. And yeah, it is a great design. Really interesting. Any final thoughts, Stuart?
I appreciate it more than I used to.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I can't wait to do an episode on it. I want to learn about the Jem'Hadar tech.
Yeah.
So
because they it's being ran by a Vorta who's got an army of basically drug obsessed or drug controlled people, and they don't have all these amenities. So what is in this massive ship? What is their deck plan? What, do they have breeding? I mean, do they have breeding facilities on each vessel to generate more people? I mean, how many years are these ships meant to go out? Are they meant to be? Can one ship take on a planet? I mean, what is the job of this fleet? Because we only ever see them, either one-on-one or a massive fleet in these big battles that just to decide a quadrant. What is the individual role of this ship? And you've got to consider how many races in the Gamma Quadrant have technology that could rival the Dominion, because that's the point of these vessels, is to, well, it would have been originally to, what we don't know. Is it to border patrol? Is it to fight aggressors? Is it to maintain order? But this seems like a very powerful, huge ship, and if there's only 3 or 4 types of Dominion ships, basically, I want to know more.
A lot of unanswered questions, as he just kind of rambled through. Lots of stuff that I never actually considered as questions, but I love these mission briefings because one of us will go off on a rant or a tirade, and it gets the other one thinking. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to find out about this ship, especially tech-wise.
Yeah, and armament-wise, I want to know exactly how many weapons it has, because these ships, you would think the Dominion would be heavily outfitted. I mean, that battleship, the big one, sorry, you'd think it has something along the lines of the Scimitar. Why wouldn't you deck it out with 47 torpedo launchers and all that jazz? But basically, we have to get John on and talk about it and work out why, and then be great.
Yeah, talking to John's going to be great about this ship.
Yeah, and that is it for another Trekyards mission briefing. A ship that reminds everyone the colour purple can look deadly in space. Deadly colour. So if you like this video, then subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoy the video, then share the episodes on Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere else you think Trek fans would love it. Or if you haven't heard about us yet, what is going on there? Share it. And please, if you can go to our Patreon and support us with any monthly donation, that would help out the show so much and help us expand and develop. Thank you guys in advance. And of course, let us know what ship you want to see in the comments below. But from myself and Captain Foley, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.